My name is Anne, and I'm 34 years old. I've been married to Philip, a college sweetheart, for 5 years now, but we don't have kids yet. We both work at separate companies and have been supportive of each other. For a while after tying the knot, life was good and our marriage felt fulfilling. But for the past 2 years, it seems like we've been drifting apart. Philip started coming home late due to work commitments, and weekend work became more frequent. As a result, we hardly even have everyday conversations, let alone any intimacy in our marriage. I get it, being busy is part of life. Even though our jobs are different, I'm also employed, so I understand what it's like to be tired. But couldn't we at least talk? Even when I try to initiate conversation, all I get are brief replies like, haha, or yeah. And when I invite him out on a rare day off, he dismisses me with a curt, "Why don't you go alone?" while strolling on his phone. I'll cook his favorite meal, but he'll say he'll eat it later, leaving it untouched. Eventually, he ends up saying, "I'm going to bed," retreating to his room as if avoiding me. During such times, I reassure myself, marriage is a long journey, we're bound to go through rough patches. I keep a positive mindset even now, while he's still isolating himself in the room. I try to maintain my composure, especially on days off. But that sentiment falters when I find the side dish I prepared, complete with a "thanks for everything, heated in the microwave" note, left untouched in the fridge. Seeing my hand-drawn illustration attached to the note feels awkward. And a peek into the sink reveals last night's takeout from a grocery store. All the effort I put in just went to waste. Sadness and emptiness flood my emotions the moment I think about it. No matter how many positive affirmations I feed myself, facing this negative reality feels suffocating. What exactly is bothering him? Even when I was swamped at work, I never neglected household chores or cooking, and I've always valued communication. If I've done something wrong, I wish he'd tell me. I want to talk. I dabbed at my teary eyes with the hem of my shirt and glanced at the calendar hanging on the wall. One date was marked with a big red circle. It was a Sunday and also my birthday. Normally, I wouldn't make such a fuss about marking my own birthday. Would my husband remember it? Even if he forgot, would seeing the circle remind him? That's why I drew this red circle. I could have told him, "Keep the day open, it's my birthday." But I wanted to know if he'd remember, so I didn't. 1 week until my birthday, I peeled off a note I'd written for my husband from its wrap and crumbled it up. A week passed, and my birthday arrived. I stocked the fridge with cake, fancy appetizers, and drinks, waiting for my husband to get home. With time to spare, I put extra effort into my makeup and appearance, hoping it might serve as a catalyst for us to share laughter again, like we used to. Still, there's a good chance my husband has forgotten my birthday. If that's the case, maybe I'll eat the entire cake myself. I hope it doesn't come to that. Maybe my humble wish got through. My husband came home earlier than he had in a long time. I was so happy, I greeted him with a smile. "Were you out?" Dressed up, I caught him tilting his head. "No, not really," I hastily explained, a bit embarrassed. "Huh," he responded, uninterested. "Listen, Anne, can we talk?" It was unusual for him to initiate a conversation, so I smiled and nodded, "Of course." We sat down, facing each other at the living room table. "I've been thinking," he started, then paused. Heart pounding, I patiently waited for him to continue. "I want to adopt a French child," he said. I couldn't react to this unexpected news. I even wondered if I'd misheard him. "Adopt?" He nodded, so I didn't mishear. "There's so much I want to say. Why do you want to do that?" I decided to ask him why first. "I've always wanted kids, but you can't have any, right, Anne? We've been married for 3 years, and while we haven't been trying for a baby per se, we've had a somewhat active love life. We had talked about enjoying our time as a couple, with or without kids. This is the first I've heard of him wanting children. So, why have you been avoiding me? I clench my teeth to stop any words from escaping. My husband, unaware of my inner turmoil, continues. So, considering we haven't had kids in the first 3 years of our marriage, I thought maybe Anne is infertile. That's why I thought adopting could be an option. Hearing his selfish reasoning, I feel a rising tide of pent-up emotions explode inside me. With a long sigh, I let out a puff of dark, emotional smoke. I catch my husband visibly flinching at my glare. By the way, who is this friend you're talking about? Well, she's just a friend. She got deceived by some bad guy and is now pregnant. She can't afford to raise the child financially. My husband easily talks about this friend's tough situation. From his tone, it seems this friend is a woman. At first, I had thought it might be a child from one of my husband's male friends, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Oh, so this friend is a woman. My words send a subtle tremor across the table. He's probably nervously shaking his leg beneath the table, a habit when he's anxious. He might be uneasy because I'm not reacting the way he expected. Under my intense gaze, he finally breaks the silence. It's Caroline's child. The name Caroline rings a bell. She was a younger girl we hung out with in college. We haven't been in contact since graduation, but both of us had a fond nickname for her, Caroline Chan. So, you and Caroline have gotten close enough to be on a first-name basis now. His face instantly turns pale. I'm convinced there's definitely something he's hiding. I'm against the adoption. This is too sudden and your behavior is strange. Are you having an affair? Perhaps I had always known, ever since he turned distant. The word affair finally escapes my lips. It's just a woman's intuition, there's no concrete evidence. Actually, I had hoped he would deny it. I'm sorry. His simple apology leaves me stunned. A small sliver of hope inside me shatters. Yes, it's my child with Caroline. Apparently, they had bumped into each other 2 years ago. It coincides with the time his attitude towards me changed. I'd understand if you wanted a divorce to remarry Caroline. What were you thinking? Talking about adoption? That's unthinkable. I'm so furious, yet I can't stop the tears. He responds, Look, raising a child costs money. Caroline only works part-time and it's tough on just my income. But I thought you and I could manage. His twisted logic stops my tears dead in their tracks. Why would he think I'd be okay with this? I can't comprehend it, and it almost makes me laugh. I can't believe this. As I mutter, my husband furrows his brows in irritation. What's your deal? I admitted cheating was wrong and I apologized, didn't I? You think a simple sorry fixes everything? You were planning to dump another woman's child on me under the guise of a friend's kid. My voice rises uncontrollably with anger. My husband's irritation turns into a full-blown rage. Fine, let's divorce then. If you had gotten pregnant earlier, none of this would have happened. Pack your stuff and leave. He leaves for his room after saying that. Well, divorce it is. I mutter and head to my room to start packing. What a terrible birthday. From his demeanor, it's clear he'd forgotten my birthday altogether. There's no way he'd bring up adopting his affair partner's child if he'd remembered. I grab an album full of memories with my husband from the shelf. I certainly won't be taking that with me. Inside the last page is an envelope. It's the divorce papers. My husband gave this to me when he first got married, saying it was to keep himself in check. His section is already filled out. He had once said, if I ever mess up so badly you can't stand being married to me, then go ahead and file. A regrettable memory flits through my mind. I actually felt attracted to him when he'd said that. Thanks for the permission. I'll take you up on that. I'll contact a lawyer and even seek financial compensation from both him and his affair partner, Caroline, if I can. Thankfully, I've been so committed to my job, I have ample savings. This isn't over yet. Just when I was about to switch gears emotionally, I stopped dead in my tracks at the entrance of the familiar condominium. A familiar person was sitting on the visitor's sofa. Oh, Anne. It's Caroline, the recently revealed other woman. I have no idea why she's here. She smiles as she walks towards me, her large belly making it difficult. I remembered her being innocent and cute back in college. Well, that image is shattered now. Long time no see. Did you finish talking to my senior? I thought it would be over soon, so I've been waiting. Caroline always called my husband senior. Her overly sweet manner of talking remains unchanged. Yes, we are getting a divorce, so adopting your child is out of the question, I say coldly, and Caroline shrugs. You're scary, Anne. So, what should I do with this baby? It's too late for an abortion. Her words enrage me, and I feel an impulse to slap her. What does she think a life is? Resisting the urge to raise my hand, I give Caroline a piercing look. Keeping the conversation going seemed pointless, so I decided to wrap it up. So, this is your husband's child. Shouldn't he be the one raising it? Caroline paused. Well, For a moment, something felt off, but then Caroline lightened up. True, I've always admired him, so him divorcing you was a lucky break for me. Thanks, Anne. Caroline bowed her head deeply. Is this woman a genius at annoying people? You'll be hearing from me about the settlement money, I said. Settlement money? Isn't that a bit dramatic? Anyway, go ahead and bill whatever you want. I'll have him pay. I forced a smile. All right. I was determined to collect, no matter what it took. That was the last time I saw Caroline. A year passed, and I was more dedicated to my work than ever before. The divorce went through smoothly right after I moved out of the condo. Caroline complained about the high settlement, but thanks to my lawyer, I received the amount I had hoped for from my both ex-husband and Caroline. Now, I'm enjoying a carefree life on my own. That was until one phone call shattered my peace. Hello, Anne. The moment I realized it was my ex-husband, I deeply regretted picking up an unknown number. I quickly tried to hang up, but he sensed it and panicked. Why do you have my number? I had blocked him immediately after submitting the divorce papers. I had even changed my phone number as a precaution. He replied, I begged your mom to tell me. Despite telling her not to, Mom is too kind-hearted. Even though she was furious with him during the divorce, she must have felt sorry for him. I was wrong. He sounded on the verge of tears. Taking advantage of my silence, he poured out all his frustrations since our divorce. He told me he had remarried Caroline right after our divorce. And a few months later, Caroline gave birth to a daughter. As soon as she recovered, Caroline started gallivanting around, neglecting the child. Initially, my ex-husband took care of their daughter, but eventually he reached his limit and turned to Caroline's parents for help. They're so cold, he said. Given that their marriage resulted from an affair, it's no surprise Caroline's parents don't have a high opinion of him or their daughter. By the way, he's been disowned by his own parents because of the reason for our divorce. Shouldn't you just be grateful they're helping at all? As expected, when I said that, he sighed. Don't you start being cold to me too. My ex-husband seems desperate for my sympathy. Tired of it all, I was about to hang up when he mumbled, Caroline's always out with a bunch of different guys. Makes me wonder if my daughter is really mine. You're just realizing this now? What do you mean? He shot back. Caroline has always been into playing the field, especially with other women's boyfriends. At first, I was friendly with her too, but distanced myself after learning the truth. My ex-husband apparently never caught on. It's like a sickness with her. Wouldn't surprise me if she had other guys while you two were together, I added. It brought back memories of the last conversation I had with Caroline. My reaction when I said, since it's your child, shouldn't you be the one to raise it? To Caroline. Ah, That's when I realized she must have had someone else. Looking back, it all strangely made sense to me. So, what does that make me? My ex-husband freaked out. Well, you tried to do the same to me, I replied, chuckling. He had no comeback and fell silent. Honestly, it's all his own doing. I felt truly relieved we're divorced. It seems he's now in the middle of a divorce trial with Caroline. Caroline has been playing with a few married men, now facing repercussions from their wives. Pay the settlement money and I won't leave you, she insists. Turns out the DNA test showed her daughter isn't his, a real mess. My ex-husband, sobbing, called and begged to get back together. Too creepy, can't do it. I ended the call and blocked him with peace of mind. By the way, Mom hadn't given him her contact. He had snooped through her phone while she stepped away. I'm thinking of setting up a screen lock for her. Maybe it's not a bad idea to take a trip with my parents. Teaching them how to use their smartphones while enjoying family time sounds fun. I look forward to the days ahead, living freely, no strings attached.